Can sex addiction be cured? That's our topic today, and it's a big topic. Whether you are the sex addict or you are married to one, spend the next few minutes and let's have this discussion. If you have yet to subscribe to our channel, please click that subscribe button because we have so much information on this topic for the addict, for the partner, and also for the marriage. So if you have a question, put it in the box. Now let's get to this topic right away. Now I'm a recovering sex addict. I've been sober for 40 years now. I have worked with sex addicts, over 5,000 of them, and their wives and their marriages for 40 years. They have come in and done intensives, phone counseling, groups, all kinds of stuff. I've done thousands of intakes. I'm the president of the American Association for Sex Addiction Therapy, training therapists to certify them in treating sex addiction, intimacy, anorexia, and partner betrayal trauma. So, as an expert in this field, I want to answer the question, can sex addiction be cured? The answer is absolutely yes and absolutely no. Now, the reason why is because addictions are a choice. Addictions influence us into a behavior, much like sexual abuse can influence us, shame can influence, and other family of origin factors can influence. But still, it comes down to the human will if we're going to choose to do something or not do something. So because the human will is one of those things that we control, I have seen thousands move into their future positively and say cured in the sense that they've never acted out again. Absolutely. Do they maintain that being cured? Yes. Okay, they never say, I'm cured in the past tense. But they stay not acting out in their sexual addiction for decades. Okay, so yes, sex addiction can be healed in that sense. Now, can it not be? Absolutely. If a man or a woman, because both can be sex addicts, and we have a whole DVD called The Betrayed Man because women betray men as well. And we have lots of stuff for partners of sex addicts, for women who have been betrayed by men in sex addiction. But a man or woman can say, you know what? Even if I totally believe I have an addiction, I want the addiction. I want to keep acting out with these people or these images or these toys or whatever their thing is. I mean, even now it's gotten into, AI connected dolls and all those things. And so they might say, yes, I have an addiction, like an alcoholic says, yeah, I'm an alcoholic. Pass me a beer. And so because it depends on the human will, that gives you the answer. Now, what is the path to being cured? What is the path to recovery? I'm going to outline that in the next few minutes. And if you want to get really free from sex addiction, okay, me and my team have been treating sex addiction myself now for 40 years, and many of them for decades. So I have seen the miracle of recovery, and I'm talking about guys who've had 200 prostitutes. I'm talking about women who've had countless men. I'm talking about men and women who have masturbated several times a week for decades. I'm talking about addiction that's been entrenched in their development since they've been 10, 12, 14 years old until they're 60, 70, or even 80 years old. So no matter where they are in the addiction process, they would take these steps, okay? Now, the first step, of course, is getting out of denial. That's the first step. If you can accept the fact that you are addicted, you tried to stop, you have had consequences and failed, you have withdrawals if you don't get your drug, you are definitely an addict, you don't have a problem with that, then you can heal. Now, the way that you choose to heal can be more aggressive or less aggressive. The most aggressive approach is to come do a 5-day intensive with the neuromodulation. Let me explain that in a moment. And get to the root of what's going on, get a clear assessment on what type of sex addict you are, because there's 6 different types of sex addicts. Let the spouse, whether it's a man or woman, get her or his assessment on partner betrayal trauma, because there are legitimate statistical impacts on a spouse who's married to a sex addict, and then also get the marriage assessed strengths and weaknesses so that the marriage can move forward. So all three can actually heal at the same time. And I've seen thousands of couples restored, healthy, happy, emotionally, spiritually, sexually, being better parents. If I haven't seen the miracle of recovery thousands of times, okay, I might have a different perspective, but I have. I've seen people do the work. Intensives, they have the satisfaction rate is in the high 90%, it's like 98 or 99% with me and our team. It's very high. So you can get tools quickly. You can find out what's wrong. You can get in groups quickly, and you can have phone support groups for the next year or two of your life so that you can actually maintain the recovery that you started at the intensive. And now the neuromodulation, because most addicts and every partner has experienced trauma. And the physical brain actually can get stuck in freeze or fight or flight. And there's a neuromodulation that you can do that's not therapy. It actually helps the brain get back into the neuroplasticity, and the effects of that can be huge in your recovery. So if you're interested in the most aggressive thing, call the office, 719-278-3708. They can tell you when the next opening is, get you in, and you guys can heal as fast as possible. Now, of course, there has to be willingness. Now, we've had some cases where there wasn't as high motivation, but being there and seeing other men and women heal actually helped them to get through the hump. And also, you can find out about the truth in an intensive, like no other place. Like, what really did happen? How many people were there? When did it really stop? Those questions can be legitimately answered if the addict is willing. Now, that's the most aggressive. And generally speaking, it's really most effective in that it's like a quick boot camp into recovery, and you can knock off many, many months of counseling. Now, we have phone counseling with counselors who are trained, and let me highlight the word trained. I did my own kind of study. I went on the internet, and I went to like 3 major cities in America, and I typed in sex addiction therapy counseling. And what I found out was over 90% of the people who advertise that they treat sex addiction have no certification, no training at all. They just put it on their website or on their advertisement that they do that, but they have no training. All of our counselors at Heart to Heart have been certified by the American Association for Sex Addiction Therapy. They not only did the rigorous course, which is like about 40 hours, they also did 6 months of supervision with me personally. And so they know what they're doing. So you can get phone counseling. We have both counselors and coaches that do that for the sex addict, also for the partner, and also for the marriage. You can heal all of these at the same time if everyone's willing to. Now, not everyone's willing to, and so the partner can heal by themselves if they want to. The addict can heal by themselves if the partner's unwilling to go forward. And so either way, you can get help. So you can do some telephone sessions, find out what type of sex addict you are, get connected to a phone group, get into the workbooks and the materials, because what you want to do is get educated on what type you are, get educated on the recovery process, get into a phone group, have accountability, and you may do polygraphs also to verify that you're clean along the way, and you can get into a structure that actually works, both the addict and the partner, whether you're a man or woman, either way. And so that's a way that you can do kind of like outpatient, week at a time, and it's very helpful if you're with someone who knows how to actually treat sex addiction. And I would ask the counselor before you go a couple questions about whether they're certified or not. Now, of course, you can also just do support groups, and that can be very helpful in some people. That's the route they choose to do. We have phone groups, which is their work groups, so they do have workbooks, and those do better than just support groups where there's no workbooks. That way you can gain an accountability partner, and you have a structure to work through all that kind of stuff. Now, some people just do the workbooks at home by themselves, and that's, more helpful than doing nothing. But really, addictions, the first word in the 12 steps is we. You want to get connected to some other people of the same gender who have the similar issues and get free as soon as possible. I have been free for over 40 years. I've been in this field for over 40 years. I have seen so many thousands and thousands of men, women, and couples heal. And so cured in the sense that they maintain the recovery, absolutely. But they still have to maintain some accountability and stay away from things that can hurt them. Now, you can decide what you want to do. The most aggressive, moderately aggressive, or maybe just get into a group and do a workbook. That's fine. But call the number 719-278-3708. Talk to someone about those options so that you can start moving forward and be one of those thousands of people that have experienced freedom from sexual addiction for the rest of your life. Now, let me tell you, the men and women who get free from sex addiction, there's a lot of benefits. First of all, spiritually, they really mature, okay? Emotionally, they're able to talk and share their feelings instead of medicate them. So they're much more mature financially. They're much more mature as a parent. They're much more mature as a friend. Many have reported having the best sex life ever. And those men and women who control their own income, entrepreneur, business owners, many of them have doubled or more than doubled their income in the first 12 months of recovery. So recovery changes your entire life. I would encourage you, take the next best step for you, your marriage if you're married, or for your family. You and they deserve the best you, and recovery is the best you.